everybody.
Hi. We're a bit short-staffed this year. Hey, I'm Erik. This is Nora. Välkomna.
Welcome to NG24 Spring, which is yet another Nordic game. Erik, I think you did your cameo.
We did our part.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Go out and have
See you
a
later.
drink. Big applause to Erik. And the coming managing director of Nordic Game in 20 years when we celebrate our 40-year anniversary. Because this is our 20-year anniversary. We've been doing this actually more than 20 times because we've been doing conferences on and off twice a year, then not. But it all started in 2004. This is some of the old photos I got to throw into the tech guide this morning, realizing that I had forgotten. But that is also because we have so much good things in store for you. First of all, thank you for being here. Let's do an applause for you first. Because, you know, Nordic Game is about you. It's for you. It's to make you better at creating games, better at doing business around the games, better at being nice persons to each other, spreading the love and the community that is the Nordic vibe. We are famous for that outside our region, and we want to continue being that. So we have tried to create this year as well the safest, most loving, huggable conference yet. So I hope you like it. You all have to read and put a cross on the code of conduct. It's a really important thing to do. So if you haven't done it, please do it. And now I will start presenting what we're doing these days by saying hello to Emmy. Hello, Emmy.
Hi.
Because Nordic Game 24 is here, right? But it's not only here. It's also where?
It's also on our Discord server. Think of it as like a bridge between like the online and the on-site. You can go on there and meet new people. You can, of course you gotta post memes there, but also you can like network. And there's an online dev showcase, and you can leave questions for our speakers.
Great, thank you, Emmy. So please do it if you cannot get enough after a day of talks and meetings. You can still go to the Discord and be a Nordic gamer in there.
Yeah.
So thank you, Emmy, for that. We'll see more of you, actually, right? Because you also been doing a game jam.
Yeah, we had a small little game jam this past weekend, and you're gonna also see me at the Women in Games lunch.
Yeah, and the winners of the game jam, right? Would they be presented?
At the awards,
At
yes.
the Nordic Game Awards. Nordic Game Awards. Don't miss that. That's tomorrow, 6 o'clock, in here. You need to come. It will be great. I cannot reveal who's winning, because that would be stupid. What I can say, though, is that we have a fully packed program for you in here and the two other auditoriums. We also have a stage in the developer showcase. Hey, James. Good to see you there. Spelkollektivet are managing the stage and the showcase there. If you like what you see, go to James and tell him. If you don't like what you see, also go to tell him. There's also talks on that stage, but they're not like really part of the real program. It's not because we're decimating or anything. It's simply because the program there is specifically meant for the developers that are actually standing in the developer showcase, exhibiting their games all day long. We thought they also should have a chance of getting smarter. So there's a program on that stage as well. 150 plus speakers. Besides that stage, in here, in the Separaten auditorium and in the Vets chamber. So I hope you enjoy it. If you don't know where to see this day-by-day schedule, there is a very smart thing to do. We have a QR code.
Also, they are on our Discord, and about that, don't hesitate to ping me if you have any questions. Like, I won't get mad.
Good.
I'll be happy to help.
And this QR code is, especially if you're in the Meet to Match system, this is related to the app there. And we put up the day-by-day schedule so it's easy for you if you have meetings or not. But you can also use it if you're not part of Meet to Match. It's complimentary. So I hope you use that. Don't get confused. If you are confused, find me and ask James. No, ask me. I think, what time is it now? Yeah. I think we're getting to a point where we should kick this off for real. Don't you, Emma?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we need a host for this, obviously. Cannot be me. I'm too old, too ugly. So, I want to present the stage host here in the theater for the next 2 days. I'm going to do the honor on the Friday because I love the Fridays. So with no further ado, from TV4 Nyheternas spelexpert, gaming consult, Paula Manrique, please join us.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Hello.
So, Paula.
Yeah, amazing. Happy to be here.
Are you ready to take over and just run the whole thing?
I am, so you can go away.
I can go and shift my sweaty shirt.
Go away. Yes, you can all go away, and I can take the stage alone as I like.
Thank you so much, Paula. I am really looking forward to this, watching it on the live stream on the Nordic Game YouTube channel. If you miss a talk, most of the talks here in the theater will be uploaded and recorded and uploaded, also live streamed, of course, but the day after it has been done, we'll upload it as a recorded session so you can enjoy it. But you should be here for the live stuff. This is in the theater. We need you here. So please spread the word, and I will go away now. Thank you so much.
This is why we need an orchestra. Really, we need something that shows Jacob that it's time to go, right? Okay, so my name is Paula from Manrique. I am usually been at TV4 at TV, so this is my first time being here at the Nordic. Really happy to be here and meeting you all. So I don't want to talk so much about myself because Jacob took all the time. So let's start this day by opening up our 20th anniversary speaker program with a talk about diversity and inclusion, which is well needed in this industry. She's the co-founder and CEO of Recommended By, a leading HR and recruitment agency dedicated to the gaming industry. With a career spanning over 10 years, she has been the forefront of the people and culture arena, always with a big focus on diversity and inclusion. Please welcome Tove Oldebäck to the stage.
Hello, everybody. I'm super excited to be here today. Also a little bit nervous. I cannot see how many you are, but it sounds like a lot of people. So Paula already introduced me. My name is Tove, and I'm CEO and co-founder of Recommended By. So the past 10 years, I've been spending helping tech and gaming companies with everything within people and culture. And during these 10 years, there's one problem that I've noticed that almost 90% of these companies have in common. It is a problem that it causes very high costs. It creates less innovation, less creativity, and also decreases the company's ability to adapt to change. This is something called the homogeneity trap. And it refers to a situation where a team or an organization become too similar in terms of their backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences. But luckily, I'm here today to help you understand how to escape this trap. So, YouTube launched its iOS app in 2007. Anyone in here who's old enough to remember that? Maybe, yes, a few. The website had been live for about 2 years, and when they launched the app. They were super excited and everything went well until they noticed that about 10% of the videos were uploaded upside down. And the engineering team was baffled. How could such a large percentage misunderstand the whole app? But after investigating and getting some feedback, they understood that 10% of their users were left-handed, meaning they're switching their phone to the left instead of to the right. So this is a great example of what a non-diverse team can create in terms of problems for this app. So no one of the engineers in the team were right-handed, so this never crossed their mind. Luckily, they got the feedback, so they could quickly adjust and rearrange the situation of the flipping, so it also suited for left-handed people. But not everyone gets this kind of feedback. And I think YouTube was lucky to get it so quickly, but you might just have players disappearing or a user that's quit using your product or your game after a certain amount of time, and you do not understand why. And this is what we call a lost opportunity cost, meaning there's a cost for the lost opportunities that you have. And Yumi Oishi at Rovio shared this quote with me, and I think it's a great example. If you can't dream it, you can't see it. Meaning we need to be humble about what we know and what things we can see that the product that we're doing needs. And not everyone is right-handed or left-handed, so you need to build a team that consists of diverse people and diverse perspectives and thoughts. So you can dream it and you can see it, and then you can achieve it. I'm not going to walk through all these numbers because I actually hate talking about numbers in science. But there's been a lot of studies done on why diversity is important for teams and companies. I'm going to explain to you what's happening when we're talking to someone who's not alike to ourselves. So when I meet someone who has a different background, comes from another country or from another industry or doesn't look like I do, I instantly need to change the way I communicate. So I need to explain things in different ways. Maybe I need to explain my whole background of the solution I'm presenting, rather than just saying my solution if I'm talking to someone who's very similar to me. So once we do this, also the receiver does the same thing, obviously. So once these two people meet and they need to talk and communicate in new ways, we enter places in our brains where we usually do not go. And this leads to fantastic numbers in terms of solving complex problems, making better decisions, and enhanced creativity and innovation, and profitability. So this sounds great, right? Everyone wants these teams. But we're still in this trap that we need to get out of. So this homogeneity trap means that we share the similar perspectives, assumptions, experiences, and beliefs. And this leads to a groupthink, meaning that everyone shares a similar idea of how the industry works or how this game should be done or how we communicate and solve problems together. And it comes with a lot of effects. We have talent shortage because we're looking only to find very specific profiles with very narrow requirements. This means it takes a long time for us to find these people. And when we find them, they're super expensive. As I told you, it's also less innovation, it's less profit. We're missing out on potential players, just as the YouTube example. And we have a decreased ability to adapt to change. But I'm here today to tell you how we can escape this trap. So there's 3 simple keys to use to get out of this trap. And the first one is for us to learn to recognizing our biases. So embracing diversity begins with realizing we all have biases and finding strategies to take them from unconscious to conscious. Is it anyone in here who has biases? Yes, great. Yeah, I can barely see your hands. But if you didn't raise your hand, then next upcoming slides for you. Right, so this is not what I've been studying, or I'm not a professor in this, so I'm going to explain it super simple. The brain consists of two systems, easily explained, so it's system 1 and system 2. System 1 takes care about 90 to 99% of our daily behaviors, decisions, actions. So system 1 is the doing part of the brain. So it's unconscious, fast, instinctive, effortless, associative, and uncontrolled. So this could be things like eating or chewing, swallowing. All these things is like you're not thinking, you're just doing it. And system 2, this is the smart part of our brain, the thinking, this reflective. It's conscious, it's slow, it's effortful, rational and logical and self-aware, rule-following and controlled. So this, depending on who you are or what situation you are in, you're using this between 1 and 10% each day. If you have a high stress in your body, it's very difficult to use system 2. And system 2, which is the great part, thinking a lot of the thoughts, it could be like, I decided to stop eating candy. So I have a bowl of candy, and usually I just eat the candy. But now I'm using system 2 to control myself, so I'm not doing my old behavior, but changing, so now I'm not touching the candy. Everyone knows this is super hard if you're Swede. The candy is super good, but you've decided that you don't want to do it. And the reason it's very hard is because system 1 has a lot of control over your body and decision. So this is universal for all human brains. It's a way the brain works for us to be able to survive. So it's nothing we can change. We just accept it. But when we're working with building teams, it's very important that we understand this. Because what the brain also does is to filter all the impressions that we have. So we get around 1 million impressions every day, and the brain can handle about 10,000 of them. Math is not one of my strengths, so I'm not going to turn that into percentage. Probably someone already did in here. But it's a lot of our thoughts or the impressions that we are not able to handle with consciousness. So the brain needs to filter, make assumptions, and prioritize all these impressions. And then the brain uses previous experiences to create some kind of truths. So when I see a toilet, I know this is a toilet and I know how to use it. I don't have to be reflective about that. But this also goes for me seeing an older white man in a suit, for example. My brain gives me information that this guy is rich. He has some kind of CXO position. And he has a big house at Lidingö in Stockholm, maybe. And this is not true. Maybe it is, but I don't know this. But that's what my brain's doing. So it's helping me to fill in the gaps because I do not know anything about this person, and my brain wants me to. So it fills in a lot of information. So I'm going to give you a very concrete example of how this can look. This is a random ad for a game design manager role to a gaming studio. What we do when we write this kind of ads is like you see the list of requirements that we're looking for you with 5 years of experience of game design, 2 years of experience from leading a team, or being part of launching at least one AAA game. So this is very common in this industry, all right? We write a list of previous experiences that we assume would make this candidate great for this job. But what I'm questioning is it actually these 5 years of prior experience that makes this candidate good? I know you've all been working with people who has long experience, but they're still not your weapon of choice when it comes down to it. I at least had a lot of colleagues that I wondered, like, what did you do the last 20 years? So it's not the years, that's the actual skill, right? So what we want is someone with experience from leading a team. And that's leadership skills we're looking for, and not some years. And I would also question, do we actually need understanding Unity or the Unreal Engine? But this is what our brain does, because we're not sure how to assess these candidates, and we're not sure how to write this requirement list for our job ad. So our brain helps us to just put in assumptions of, I know a great guy, and he had this many years, so let's just put that in. So is it anyone in here who could actually apply for this job? I think I see one. Okay, there's one, two maybe. Okay, great. So you're probably also 50% of my target group when recruiting for this role. And then if I was hiring you, what's your name? If I was hiring you, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. If I was hiring you, you would come to a group with team members that would be very similar to you. And you would all share the same experiences, because everybody probably had launching AAA games and had a lot of experience in the gaming industry. So what would happen to this team then? Probably they would get stuck in the homogeneity trap. I got instructions to breathe a little bit in between, so you had time to understanding all the impact that I'm telling you. So I'm taking a moment here. So the second key, a structured recruitment process. So once we learn to understand how our brain works and why we have biases that are unconscious, and that we cannot control them in the way we would like to, then we need to create processes around this. So for my game design manager role, I have 2 CVs coming in. So now it's voting time. Who would hire Sara for this role? Raise your hand. 2. Great. Who would hire Peter for this role? And the rest of you, do not want to hire anyone. No, your team is good as it is. Perfect. Majority of hands voted for Peter. I know you have very little information about these people, but this is usually how we do look at CVs when people apply to jobs, right? We look at the CVs, and Sarah would probably just be like thrown in a bin, and Peter would move forward in the process. Because our brains tells us that he has great experience from game design manager, from UX design and game designer, and he's been in the industry since 2011. Oh my God, that's great. And Sarah comes from non-gaming companies, and she's done so many other weird things that we're not producing here. So here comes a little more science about recruiting. So the validity of predicting a candidate's future performance when looking at their previous experience is somewhere between 10 and 15%. Meaning just by looking at Peter's CV, I guess that were the reason so many of you didn't vote, because it's so difficult to predict how someone will perform just by looking at their previous experience. But what we do know is that if we give them work sample tests and structured interviews, we have much higher possibilities to hire the right person for the job. Structured interviews is actually a thing. It's not just like having your papers in order. So it's about assessing only the requirements we decided was important for this role. So for the game design manager, it would be leadership skills, for example, and we're only assessing that. And we also do a work sample test or a code test or a case study or something. So something that they will actually perform in our organization. So to be able to do this, we need to challenge the hiring manager's bias. So it's great if it's someone external or if you have someone working with recruitment who can help you to question the list of requirements that you wrote, because that's your bias writing the job ad, as we saw in the beginning. And then we can create a requirement profile free from the bias. So we can skip all the years, we can skip the Unity part, and we can move straight to what's actually important for Sara or Peter to have to succeed in this role. And then we only measure and evaluate the requirements. And this is super hard, I know. The candidate also runs marathons, so I love them. That does not affect which candidate I'm choosing, or the color of their socks, or their home situation. So yeah, you're laughing, but it's actually, it could actually be true. So, and then we're also using an ATS system to avoid making decisions based on feelings, because we know the feelings is our bias telling us things. That's not true. So what happened to Sara and Peter? Sara was actually hired. Peter was way much more expensive, but Sara was hired because she had all the leadership skills we were looking for. So this is a real-life case from a gaming studio in Stockholm. Sara came in and brought so many new perspectives with her experience from other industries. She had less or even no possibilities to be a micromanager because she couldn't do the actual craft, but she could be a great leader. And everyone loves a manager who's not a micromanager. She was also focused on building and growing the team and the team members. So her focus wasn't to being in the game design, she was building a team. And she made a great internal career. From design manager to design director, now she's currently operations manager. Her real name is not Sarah, by the way, if you're trying to Google. All right, sista nyckeln nu som Gunde Svan hade sagt. Sorry, internal Swedish joke. The last key is inclusive practices. I think we all saw the emails from Nordic Games and the code of conduct on the back of your badge, which has worked super well with just all the examples of inclusive practices that I'm going to talk about. So if we focus on finding diverse thoughts to our team, the recruitment will be faster and cheaper. If we listen to everyone's voice and value their opinions, our team will be more innovative and more profitable. So now we learn that different is good. We learned why we have trouble with different. We've understood how we could recruit different. And I think what's coming now is maybe the most important. I've seen so many companies doing great at recruiting diverse talents, but not being able to take care of them. So, inclusive practices. Adapt your processes to people and not the other way around. So Nordic Games had a quiet room set up here because not everyone enjoys, well, very few people I think, enjoys going around mingling and hearing a lot of noises all the time. And this is also important to know if you hire people who's on the autism spectrum. In general, a developer with autism delivers 90 to 120% more than a neurotypical person. So twice as much if they get the right environment. And that is not the same for a neurotypical person. So for us to be able to deliver a space where they can perform, we need to understand them, that they're different from us. We need to create policies and practices for behaviors, so code of conducts, and also what's happening if someone isn't following them. And once you onboard these team members, you focus on asking questions and not to give them answers. I know it's very good that they learn how your production is working or the history of your company. But most important, to value their opinions and to value their experiences and making sure you can build an environment where they can work, you need to ask questions. And this is for everyone in the team to understand, so I would also recommend to train your teams in bias and in diversity. Leadership's responsibility, I actually had like first 10 different things here, but then I realized it's in the end of my presentation and your brain is already full, so I'm just going to tell you to make mistakes. Make mistakes and own them and learn from them and create that space for everyone in your organization. Because when you do, as a leader, people will feel like they can bring their whole self. And creativity will start and innovation will start. And I promise you it will also be super, super much easier to be a leader if you're allowing yourself to make mistakes. I'm an expert in this. And then I have a quote from Jane Skolman at Star Stable. I think she has a few colleagues in here today. She's great. I used to work with her before. So as a leader, she works with social engineering. So she studies her team and looks who's speaking the most, who's speaking the least. And then she takes it as her job to change the setup in the teams. And it doesn't happen automatically, so she needs to be the leader who construct this environment. So the people that talks a lot, she tells them, like, now is your time to be quiet. This meeting, you'll only take notes, and then come back and bring your thoughts afterwards. Because that's opening up for the more quiet people to be able to share their thoughts in these meetings. And she said, this is hard to do, it takes a lot of work, but she's seen so much value coming out of it, where everyone in the team has their voice heard. So I'm finishing this as a business meeting, since it's the only way I know how to do it, with your next steps. So when you go out of this room, and if you feel like I really want to change the situation in my team or in my organization, because I want to make more profit or I want to have more innovation, you start to uncover and discover your plus your team's unconscious bias. There's a lot of tests that you can do for free online, so just reach out to me if you want me, I can send the links. You structure your recruitment process, so no ads with requirement profiles full of bias, and no evaluation of socks color. And leaders and teams need to create inclusive environments, just like Nordic Games tried to do, and you remember to make mistakes. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a talk, Tove.
Wow.
I learned so much. Okay, so we have like a small Q&A. Does anybody have a question for Tove? Like, I don't see, well, we have one there, one gentleman there, I think.
What is an ATS system?
Oh, great question. Applicant tracking system. So recruitment system.
Yeah.
Great.
Another question? No. Or, yeah, well, here we go. We take you there.
Wait. Hello. This mainly applies to big companies in recruitment, but you have a lot of indie game dev studios forming their teams. So how this knowledge also applies for who is looking for co-founders and trying to build their own game companies?
Oh, great question. Thank you. Yeah, I think the sooner you start with this, the better, because of how the leader structure is set up, this will spread to the rest of the organization. So definitely start early, and also knowing like what is the most important things I need in my other co-founders, and I might only be able to choose 3 things, And everything that can be learned within 6 months is not a requirement. That's something that they can learn, if that helps you. But I'm happy to discuss more.
Yeah, you there.
It's a cardio.
Yeah,
for him.
run.
Another question that is more targeted to big studios. How do you deal with a situation where you don't have buy-in for diversity from leadership itself?
Ooh, yeah, I think this is why 90% of the companies are stuck in this situation, I think. So what I'm doing and what I think like it works the best yet, I think I have more solutions to find, but to always use profit and numbers to defend why it's important. Because when you talk about just like diversity and inclusion, people believe that this is something we do for society to change women's situation in the world. This is of course something we're doing, but we need to speak a language that talks to leadership. And that's usually profit.
So the last question. Does anybody wants to? Yeah, over there. This gentleman over here. Run, boy, run, boy.
Here he is.
Yeah. Which one? Yeah. Hey, fight. Here. Great.
Hey, thank
Hey.
you. First and foremost, thank you for the great talk. Some valuable insights. Can I have 2 questions? Or-
Yeah, sure. But
Okay.
if it's really fast.
Okay.
Because we don't have time.
One is, how do you recommend dealing with hiring upper management and C-levels who come from industries that are typically more associated with toxicity problems like finance or oil and gas? And the other question is,
Well, can we do the first one?
sure.
Yes.
Of course.
Otherwise
Because
I
we
will
don't
forget.
gonna have time for the second one. This one was long.
First of all, I think it's very dangerous to call a whole industry toxic, but I understand what you mean. And this is a perfect example of when to step out of your bias. Because if there's a person who wants to leave a place or an industry or work, you should be open hearing why. Maybe it's just because of the feeling that this is toxic, I don't want to do this anymore. But then I still think it's very hard to generalize industries. I've been in different industries, and it says nothing about me, I think. It's more where I happen to perform my services. So I think transferable skills is so good. So when someone comes from another industry and you put them into a new industry, this previous industry might have so many learnings that your industry can use. So I think in general, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, now we don't have time for the second one. Sorry.
But we can meet later.
Yeah, you can meet later and
Feel free
connect
to
and
write to
everything.
me. Yeah.
So a big thanks to you, Tove. Yeah, amazing. Thank you for being here. So we have like 15 minutes to the next panel talk. So please do what you do. See you later. Thank you.